The NBA has witnessed the rise of numerous extraordinary talents throughout its rich history. However, there are certain players who not only dominated the game, but also had such a profound impact on the sport that they compelled the league to implement rule changes. These exceptional individuals pushed the boundaries of what was considered possible on the court, forcing the NBA to adapt its regulations to maintain balance and fairness. Here are 10 NBA players who forced rule changes in the league and pushed the league to where it is today. Shaquille ONeal. Shaquille ONeal, one of the most dominant centers in NBA history, had a significant impact on the league that led to rule changes. His imposing size, strength, and ability to dominate in the paint forced opposing teams to devise strategies to counter his dominance. O'Neal's influence on the game resulted in the implementation of the Hack-a-Shaq rule. The Hack-a-Shaq strategy referred to intentionally fouling O'Neal, a notoriously poor free throw shooter, to send him to the free throw line. Teams recognized that fouling O'Neal was a way to limit his impact and force him to earn points from the charity stripe, where his free throw shooting percentage was significantly lower than his overall field goal percentage. To address this tactic and maintain the integrity of the game, the NBA introduced rule changes known as the Hack-a-Shaq rule. The rule aimed to limit the excessive and intentional fouling of players away from the ball, preventing teams from repeatedly fouling poor free throw shooters to gain an advantage. Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain's exceptional size, strength, and scoring ability forced the NBA to implement modifications to maintain competitive balance and address his overwhelming dominance. Quite frankly, before Shaquille ONeal, Wilt Chamberlain dominated the game, unlike any force we have ever seen in sports. One of the notable rule changes influenced by Chamberlain was the widening of the free throw lane, also known as the Wilt Chamberlain rule. Before Chamberlain's era, the key area under the basket was only 6 feet wide, allowing players to camp near the rim and create congestion. Chamberlain's dominance as a prolific scorer and dominant rebounder led to opponents frequently employing tactics to limit his effectiveness, including surrounding him with multiple defenders near the basket. To counter Chamberlain's dominance and create a more balanced game, the NBA widened the free throw lane to its current size of 16 feet. This rule change, known as the Wilt Chamberlain rule, aimed to provide more space around the basket and reduce the advantage of dominant big men like Chamberlain, who excelled in the paint. Daryl Dawkins. Daryl Dawkins, known for his powerful dunks and charismatic personality, had an impact on the NBA that resulted in rule changes related to shattered backboards. His forceful and thunderous slams led to several instances where he shattered the glass backboards during games. Dawkins' powerful dunks and the subsequent damage they caused drew significant attention and raised concerns regarding player safety and the cost of replacing broken backboards. As a result, the NBA took action to prevent similar incidents and introduced structural changes to the basketball hoops and backboards. In response to Dawkins' dunking prowess and the need for sturdier equipment, the NBA worked on reinforcing backboards and hoop structures to withstand the force generated by players. The league implemented measures such as stronger support systems and breakaway rims, which allowed the rim to flex and absorb the impact of powerful dunks without shattering the backboard. LeBron James. LeBron James, one of the most dominant and influential players in NBA history, has had a significant impact on the league. The King's style of play and skill set has sparked discussions and adaptations within the NBA. When LeBron James famously took his talents to South Beach in 2010, it's safe to say his first game back in Cleveland was greatly anticipated by many. Before LeBron's return on December 2, 2010, the NBA executives were investigating anti-LeBron merchandise like hats, shirts, and signs. It was discovered that many t-shirts were circulating locally within the city of Cleveland, holding hateful statements directed at LeBron James. As a result of this discovery, the NBA warned fans not to wear these clothes to the game and even placed extra security at the entrances to ensure nobody had any such clothing or hateful signs. Reggie Miller. The Reggie Miller kickout rule change refers to a modification made in response to the offensive strategy employed by former NBA player Reggie Miller. Miller, known for his exceptional shooting ability, developed a tactic where he would lean into defenders while taking the jump shot, often resulting in contact. He would then extend his legs in an exaggerated manner to create additional space between himself and the defender, drawing a shooting foul. The play style employed by Miller raised concerns and prompted discussions about the fairness of his actions. The introduction of the Reggie Miller kickout rule aimed to preserve the integrity of the game and prevent offensive players from gaining an unfair advantage through deceptive or manipulative actions. It emphasized the importance of players maintaining balance and control during shooting motions and discouraged the practice of kicking out legs to create contact. Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen, a former NBA player known for his defensive prowess, had an indirect influence on NBA rules through his playing style and reputation. Bowen was widely regarded as one of the premier perimeter defenders during his career. His aggressive and physical defensive tactics drew attention and sparked discussions around player safety and the fairness of his approach. Bruce Bowen was notorious for contesting the jump shot, then placing his foot where players would normally land, putting a defender's ankles at risk of turning or worse. So after spraining Steve Francis' ankle and nearly doing the same to Jamal Crawford, the NBA issued the rule that allows a player to have a safe place to land. The league made changes to how close defenders could be to offensive players without impeding their freedom of movement. The updated rules aim to ensure a fair and balanced playing field, promoting offensive flow and reducing the risk of injury caused by overly aggressive defensive tactics. Charles Barkley. Barkley was a menace in the shaded area despite being undersized. To alleviate the lack of size, Barkley often backed down bigger defenders for a lengthy amount of time before attempting a shot. In order to quicken the pace of the game, the league responded by imposing the 5-second rule. The rule stated that an offensive player, while in the post with their back to the basket, could only hold the ball for a maximum of 5 seconds without making a move toward the basket. If the player failed to initiate a shot or pass within this time frame, it resulted in a turnover, giving possession to the opposing team. Rajon Rondo, upside-down headbands. After Rajon Rondo popularized the style of wearing headbands upside down, with the familiar NBA logo inverted, the league banned its practice, instituting that headbands must now be worn with the logo facing the right way. That reminds me, do you remember the Ninja-style headbands? Ron Artest. Ron Artest, now known as Meta World Peace, played a significant role in changing the technical foul rules in the NBA. In 2004, Artest and several other players involved in a physical altercation with fans led to a league-wide examination of player behavior and the need for stricter regulations. However, in response to the brawl, the NBA introduced stricter enforcement of technical fouls for unsportsmanlike conduct, including any actions deemed disrespectful, taunting, or unnecessarily hostile towards opponents or officials. As a result of these rule changes, players are now subject to fines and suspensions for accumulating a certain number of technical fouls throughout a season. The league's emphasis on maintaining a professional and respectful atmosphere has helped prevent similar incidents and promote better sportsmanship among players. What do you think about these rules? And are there any rules the NBA should make now? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, subscribe and hit the like button for more NBA-related videos.